Hi, I'm Sabrina, and I'm a neighborhood navigator. I'm here with my grandchildren, and we're here to enjoy the community event. We would like to thank everybody for coming. I have been living in this neighborhood for over 20 years. I'm kind of glad that the state, the city, and HUD has taken notice of what's happening to the highway, and they're able to bring it down so that we can live in a better and safer community than what we're already in.
Just look around. You know, it brought the whole community together. Just something small. It's basically a job fair, career fair, and this stuff brings the community together. It starts the day off right. Now, it's gonna be a good day, and people will just go with the energy that they got from today.
We want change. We have an opportunity this time around to give input. So that's why it's imperative that the residents, they're at the table, because we want a vibrant, thriving neighborhood.
My family moved over here from State Street. There wasn't nothing over here. And we played on that basketball rim. There was nothing but dirt. And one basketball court rim. And all this here, the highway wasn't even built then. When they put the highway up, they split the 15th Ward up.
This highway went up when I was like about 12 years old. Nobody told us about it going up, it just went up. And we just saw it. And to me, it made me think that we were looking like the big city after that. But I didn't know the damage that it caused until I got older. When the bridge came up, all black businesses left, never returned.
The history of Interstate 81 is similar to the history of many interstates in many cities across the nation. The nation was growing, relying increasingly on automobiles. Communities were moving out into the suburbs, and so interstates were built to efficiently move people in and, importantly, out of cities. Unfortunately, where the federal government chose to build the interstate was directly through an existing neighborhood. A thriving working-class neighborhood made up predominantly of African American and Jewish communities, and as a result, those communities were displaced, and it has left a scar, literally and figuratively, in the heart of the city of Syracuse.
So the I-81 Viaduct project is a $2.25 billion project that is going to remove a 1.4-mile bridge that runs in downtown Syracuse. And we're going to replace that with the community grid. So the project is part of Governor Kathy Hochul's commitment to modernize the infrastructure across New York State to promote equity and connectivity between communities.
The I-81 project was talked about in this community over 10 years ago. And so that, combined with the fact that HUD wanted to redevelop housing in a different way, gave us an opportunity to come up with a master plan for this neighborhood, add some mixed income and market rate housing, deconcentrate the poverty in this neighborhood, additional amenities for education, health and safety for the residents of this neighborhood. So we came out with a plan to demolish the public housing and reconnect the streets so that we don't have these super blocks anymore, and where a lot of nefarious activity takes place, and just really put in an early childhood learning center, a YWCA, and a bunch of other amenities and benefits for families as well. You got to remember that the whole goal here, along with that HUD provides, is giving residents a choice. And so they need to have a choice whether they want to stay in this community and take advantage of what we're going to provide, or maybe take a housing choice voucher initiative and move somewhere else. But it's all about giving residents a choice.
So one of the things that we were able to do in this project was, early on, we were able to bring together a number of the state agencies as well as the city organizations, City of Syracuse organizations, that are involved in a transportation project of this magnitude. So whether you're talking about the housing organization, you're talking about Department of Labor, you're talking about the Empire State Development Corporation, all of these entities coming together to figure out what resources can the state bring to bear, and understand so many different entities are going to be impacted by this project. How do we work together, both at the state level and at the city and the county level, to coordinate as best we possibly could?
We're in a really amazing moment, I think, of history for the city of Syracuse, where the Interstate I-81 project is timed at the exact moment that a major housing redevelopment of public housing next door to the highway will be completed.
We were going to rehab our buildings and do a major transformational project anyway. But with I-81, that's where federal dollars come from. That's where the unique opportunity comes from. We have to be very strategic, the unique partnership with NYSDOT, the city of Syracuse, to be able to say, hey, we're all partners in this. How do we make this right and not get it wrong again?
When we had the opportunity to reimagine what transportation would look like along the corridor, hands down, the city of Syracuse and many stakeholders were unapologetic that it has to be the community grid. We did not want a rebuilt viaduct. It would be higher and wider. We did not want a tunnel because that was impractical. What is practical was a community grid. It is not just about a road. It is about the interconnectivity of the road and travel, sidewalks, green space. How can housing interact with the roadway and the sidewalks and the infrastructure? How can business benefit from it?
The decision to remove the elevated viaduct in and of itself isn't going to accomplish the transformational positive change in the community that we are aspiring to. We need to make sure that as we undertake the project and long after the project, that the people, the communities that have long lived within the shadow of this viaduct not only are not harmed by this project, but benefit from this project, stand to benefit the most from this project. So that means ensuring that we are not displacing people, that we are mitigating the impacts of construction, that we're making follow-on investments in the neighborhood, in the community, to connect people to opportunity, whether it be education, employment, access to food, healthcare. It's a holistic approach. The infrastructure is the impetus for the project.
There are a number of challenges that exist, including how different organizations, government agencies, and major stakeholders need to now work together to create the change that we're trying to create in the neighborhood.
These conversations have been going on for a decade now. It always has been like a start-stop. You have to analyze, you have to collect the data, you have to line up funding, you have to line up stakeholders. That all has taken about a decade during the course of the project. What people have said is, yeah, right. It's never going to happen, or what you're promising is going to happen is we don't see it, we can't feel it, we can't touch it.
I can remember about 12 years ago, all this about the redevelopment and the highway coming down, it was in talks. Then it went dormant for 12 years. So there's a lot of mistrust in the community. So here we are, 2024, it's full speed ahead.
I'll stay out of here.
The opportunity to reimagine the neighborhood started with the voices of the people who live and work in the neighborhood, who run their businesses in the neighborhood, who lay their heads, whose children play at a park, who looks at a highway that is crumbling before them. So the opportunity started with hearing what their vision was for where they live. And those voices were the most important voices.
Yeah, so what's been missing in the past is when these type of decisions were made, no one talked to the neighborhood residents. No one even cared about the neighborhood residents or the business owners or even the homeowners. And I think things are a lot better now because Blueprint 15 is at the table with a current neighborhood resident. I myself, a former resident, so at the minimum we have a former resident who's at the table, but I always try to make sure that at least one or two of my neighborhood navigators are available because they can speak from current perspective. So we've talked to a lot of different people throughout the years and time again with our community engagement events and our surveys to make sure that all the voices that want to be heard are being heard. In 2023, they contacted about 700 people and about 350 to 400 were from the neighborhood. So we're reaching the people that we're trying to reach, but we also want the outer community to understand that what we're doing is specific for this neighborhood, but it benefits everyone.
We really want to know from the community what is going to work for them. And that is evident in a roundabout that we proposed for the East Adams neighborhood community. We wanted to put a roundabout in a certain place, and the community did not want it there. It was near a school. They did not want that much traffic near the school, and so they submitted comments and feedback about that, and the New York State Department of Transportation heard those comments, and we moved the roundabout for them. There's also feedback from the community about, people who look like the folks living in the neighborhood also working on the project, which you don't typically see. And so, we took that feedback from the community and we created provisions in our contracts to where our contractors have to hire people in the neighborhood to work on this project.
This is my community. I've lived here all my life. My mother, she migrated here in the 30s. She was a part of the 15th Ward, and she always talked about when is there gonna be change, right? She didn't live to see the change, right? But I'm her daughter and I'm a resident, so I'm her voice now. No, I look forward to all the good things that's come in. I will keep the residents engaged because it's our community.
I lived my whole life here. My mom raised me and all my siblings here, all 5 of us, as a single mother. That was my childhood. And now I'm moving forward with my life. This means a lot. Like it brightened me up today. It took a lot of my worries away. I asked a few questions. This is really my neighborhood, and now that it's going, I'm actually happy. It's like a bittersweet thing, but it's time for change.